The Doomsday Run, Chapter 1. Ghosts over the sea, Ext, Pacific Ocean, night, absolute darkness, the kind that swallows stars. The only sound is the low, tectonic groan of a massive engine. The USS Hornet is a moving mountain of steel, a city of shadows adrift on an ink-black sea. EXT. Flight deck. Night. The deck is a graveyard of angular metal. SBD Dauntless dive bombers are chained down, their folded wings giving them a broken skeletal look. A lone figure moves between the silent machines. Lieutenant Jack Ghost Morgan walks with the slow, deliberate pace of a man in a cathedral. He stops at a specific Dauntless. Below the cockpit, 3 names are painted in careful amateur script, then partially scratched out: Danny, Smitty, Chappie. A 4th, Miller, is a fresher scar. Morgan's hand hovers over a patch of puckered, repaired metal near the gunner's position. A thin sheen of rainwater has collected in a rivet on the wing. In its dark, distorted surface, for one impossible second, the reflection is not his. It's the grinning, grease-smudged face of a young man. Smitty. The reflection mouths a word without sound. Skip. Morgan flinches back. The water ripples. His own weary face stares back. The ghost was not in the water. It is in him. Int. Morgan's quarters. Later, a metal coffin. Morgan sits on his bunk, a fountain pen over a blank V-mail form. The pen is steady. The page is empty. The gentle roll of the ship becomes a violent shudder. The distant hum becomes the rising, desperate whine of a dying engine. The memory. Sensory overload. No visual, only sound and feel. The deafening rat-tat-tat of a rear gunner's .30 caliber. Smitty's voice, cracking with panic. "They're everywhere! Jack, I can't..." The scream is cut off by a sound like a sledgehammer hitting a tin can. Danny's voice, calm for a second. "Steady, Skip. Almost there." Then a wet, choking gasp. The shriek of tearing metal. A new sound. A whistle. High-pitched. Falling. A bomb tumbling from a dying plane above them, towards them. And beneath it all, a final clear whisper in the static. Chappie's voice. "It's okay, Lieutenant. Let go." In T. Morgan's quarters. Present. Morgan gasps. The pen has driven its nib straight through the paper into the desk. A blot of ink spreads like a bloodstain. He is drenched in sweat. He looks at the cracked mirror. For a moment he sees the silhouettes of 3 men behind him. He turns. The room is empty. He looks at his hands. They are perfectly, unnaturally still. XT. Flight deck. Dawn. The sunrise is a blade of brutal orange light. The carrier is a frenetic machine. Deck crews swarm. Bombs are towed, fat olive-drab eggs with bright yellow rings. Morgan stands like a stone in a river. His new crew approaches. Ensign Ricky B. Barrett, 19, fumbles with his ammunition box. A small folded square of paper falls out. A child's crayon drawing of a lopsided house and 4 stick figures. He snatches it up, face burning, and shoves it into his flight suit. Lieutenant J.G. Matthew, Prof. Chen, 22, methodically checks his Norden bombsight case. He avoids looking at Morgan. The loudspeaker barks. Loudspeaker voice. "All pilots and senior aircrew to the ready room. Command briefing. This is not a drill." Morgan turns and walks. The young men fall in behind him. Int. Ready room. Day. The room is thick with smoke and tension. Captain Ellis Harding stands before a large map covered by a black cloth. Harding yanks the cloth away. The map shows a topographic nightmare. A structure is circled in violent red. The Ryuguchi Dam. The Dragon's Maw. Captain Harding. This dam provides 70% of the power for the Nakajima fighter factories. Your mission is to remove the heart. He taps a narrow, winding canyon north of the dam. Captain Harding. They expect an attack from the south. You will come from here. You will fly at wave-top level, pop up here, and dive. Their guns will be fixed on the southern sky. It will take them 8 seconds to traverse. Your dive must take 7. You will be inside their decision loop. The math is cold. Hard physics against fragile flesh. The mission is a calculated sacrifice. Captain Harding, dismissed. As the room empties, Harding's voice cuts through. Captain Harding Morgan. A word. The others file out. Harding looks at Morgan, the official mask gone. Captain Harding, quietly. You know what the math really says. Morgan gives a single nod. The math says, most of them die. Captain Harding. I'm not ordering you to destroy the dam. I am ordering you to lead the men. They need to believe they're coming home. So here is your real mission. You get them to the target. You get them through the dive. And then, Ghost, you bring them back. However many you can. You bring them home. He turns and leaves. Morgan is alone. The red circle on the map seems to pulse. The thin line of the canyon is a fuse. Chapter 2, The Gauntlet XT Flight Deck. Day. The Hornet is a hive of furious noise. SBD Dauntless bombers, heavy with 1,000-pound bombs, roar to life. Int, SBD Dauntless Fortune's Fool. Cockpit. Morgan performs his checks. Through the intercom, B's breathing is quick and shallow. Chen's is measured. Morgan final check. B. Report. B guns charged. Ammo green. Ready back here, Skipper. Morgan, Professor Chen bomb armed. Norden is hot and happy. A beautiful day for a dive, Lieutenant. The plane lurches forward, launched by the catapult. It claws into the sky. The other Dauntlesses follow. 6 planes, 36 men. EXT. Sky over the Pacific. Hours later. Monotony. Blue ocean below, blue sky above. The constant drone of the engine. B's voice crackles, bored. B nothing, but water. You think they know we're coming? Chen. Our low-altitude approach gives us a 72% chance of tactical surprise. Land appears. A jagged green-black coast. The squadron noses down to wave-top level, roaring into the mouth of a dark, winding river. The world narrows to roaring green walls. Chen acoustic profile just changed. They will have heard us. Clock is ticking. They bank through a tight turn. And the world explodes. Tracers, burning white, stitched down from the cliffs above. 3 Mitsubishi A6M0 fighters scream down. The lead pilot's voice shouts over the radio. Vance, VO, zeros, 12 o'clock high, break, chaos, Dauntlesses peel away. A 0 lines up on a plane ahead. Cannon fire. The American plane smokes. B screams. B0, on our tail. Morgan doesn't break. He pushes the stick forward, diving towards the river. Morgan B. Wait for my call. The 0 follows. Cannon rounds punch into their fuselage. Thwack, thwack, thwack. The plane shudders. A scream of pain tears through the intercom. B, my arm, God, I'm hit. Morgan sees a sharp river bend. He yanks the stick, skidding the Dauntless sideways. The 0 overshoots. Morgan. B, now. B fires through pain. The tracers connect, walking up the 0's fuselage into its cockpit. It veers, trailing smoke, and explodes against the canyon wall. Silence, save for B's ragged, sobbing breaths. Over the radio, the damage report is catastrophic. Vance, VO, distorted. Dumbo 2 is gone. Dumbo 4 is turning back. Dumbo 5. He just went into the river. 6 planes have become 3. Vance's voice returns, grim. Vance, VO. Reform on me. We've paid the entry fee. Now we finish the job. Morgan looks ahead. The gorge narrows into a dark, stone throat. They are flying straight into the dragon's belly. Chapter 3. The wall of fire X'd. Sky. Mouth of the gorge. The three Dauntlesses are insects in a stone cathedral. The walls blot out the sky. Vance's voice is strained. Vance, VO. Pop-up. In 60 seconds. 7 seconds from crest to release. Do not waver. Morgan's wingtip nearly scrapes the rock. Vance's plane reaches the bend. It pitches up into daylight. The far canyon rim erupts. A continuous rolling curtain of black and red flak fills the sky. Vance's plane disappears into the firestorm. It emerges, trailing flame, and holds its dive. A bomb drops. Then, a direct hit. The Dauntless comes apart, wings shearing off, cartwheeling into nothing. The second Dauntless hesitates. Tracer fire finds it. The plane vaporizes in a ball of fire. 6 planes became 3. 3 have become 1. Morgan is the last. Chen's voice is hollow. Chen. The 8-second window. It's closed. Morgan stares at the inferno. The gunners are aiming at the ghost of the plan, where a plane should be. A new, insane vector unfolds in his mind. Morgan. We're changing the plan. Chen. The trajectory is impossible. Morgan, forget the Norden. You're on manual. B. Can you still fight? B. Weak but fierce. I got one arm that works. Morgan pushes the throttle forward. He races past the pop-up point, deeper into shadow, then pulls into a savage banking turn. Not at the dam, but directly at the cliff face, where the guns are mounted. Chen. You're heading for the cliff. Morgan. They're looking down their sights. They're not looking at their feet. He holds the course. The cliff fills the windshield. At the last second, he rolls and pulls into a near-vertical climb, using the rock as a shield. For 2 seconds, they are in the gun's blind spot. B screams. B, they're traversing! Morgan rolls upright. They are now above the rim. He kicks into a slip, lining up with the dam's slender, curved top. Morgan Prof, the crest. Manual drop. On my call. Chen is hunched over his sight, instinct taking over. Chen, I have it. Steady. The Dauntless screams into its dive from the unexpected angle. Flak rises to meet them. A shell explodes nearby. The canopy cracks. Another hit. A hole tears in the wing. B's voice is a desperate chant. B left. Left. Oh God. Right. Morgan feels the ghosts, their hands on his shoulders. He sees the thin walking path atop the dam. Morgan now! Prof! Let it go! Chen yanks the release lever. Chen, bomb away! The plane lurches upward. Morgan hauls back on the stick, vision graying. He does not look back. The bomb falls. It misses the broad face. It strikes the very edge of the concrete crest. For a heartbeat. Nothing. Then, the world turns white. Chapter 4. The Long Way Home. The white flash is a sun being born. Then the shockwave, a visible ripple of air, slams into the climbing Dauntless, pitching it onto its back. The sound arrives. The deep, groaning roar of a mountain dying. The dam does not collapse. It unfolds. A massive section shears away. The lake finds its throat. A 60-foot wall of water explodes through the breach, thundering into the gorge. Morgan wrestles the inverted plane level. Alarms shriek. A fuel warning light blinks. A ragged hole trails vapor from the wing. Chen. We have to get out. The gorge ahead is a tomb of dust and spray. The only way is back. But the wall of water is surging down the river channel towards them, filling the canyon. Morgan points the nose at the leading edge of the climbing spray. A solid wall of white mist. Chen. We'll lose all lift. Morgan. It's our only cover. They fly into the white. Instant, blinding gray, deafening hammering of water on metal. Morgan flies by instrument alone through the roaring blindness. They burst out, skimming feet above a new world. The river is a raging brown torrent, carrying trees and wreckage. The guns are behind them, silenced. A new sound, a metallic chattering. B's voice, thick with pain. B0, 4 o'clock low. A single clean fighter banks to intercept. Morgan sees the floodwaters, the canyon, the hopeless odds. Morgan B, he'll come in for a low side pass. Wait for my mark. One burst. Morgan reduces throttle, letting the plane wallow, a wounded target. The 0 takes the bait, its cannon firing, shredding the wing further. Morgan waits, feels the impacts. Morgan now, B now! B fires a short, desperate burst into empty space ahead of the 0. The Japanese pilot turns smoothly into the stream of bullets. Smoke pours from his engine. The fighter dips a wingtip into the raging floodwater and disintegrates. Silence. Then the cold reality, the fuel light, the sinking hydraulic pressure, Chen fuel for 20 minutes, hydraulics failing. We won't make the rendezvous. Morgan looks at the vast, empty Pacific. He remembers the order. Bring them home, Morgan. We're ditching. He feathers the dying engine. The silence is terrifying. The sea rushes up. He flares the nose. The belly kisses the water. A shuddering impact. A scream of tearing metal. White water explodes over the canopy. Then stillness. The plane floats, settling. They are alive. Chapter 5. The Det Ext, Pacific Ocean. Day silence. The low groan of metal. The lap of water. The Dauntless floats like a dead bird, the ocean pouring into the cracked cockpit. Int. Cockpit. Morgan hangs in his harness, dazed. He fumbles it off. Water is ankle deep. Morgan, Professor B. Sound off. Chen groans. From the rear, nothing. Morgan B. He shoves the canopy open. The empty horizon hits him. He sloshes towards the shattered rear gunner's position. B is slumped over his gun, unmoving, one arm a mess of blood-soaked cloth. Morgan finds a pulse, thready. With Chen's help, they pry B loose. His good hand clutches the sodden, pulpy mass of the child's drawing. They get the emergency raft inflated, a bright yellow hope, and maneuver B into it. He moans, eyes fluttering. B, Skip? We made it? Morgan manages a weary smile. Morgan, we made it, B. You did good. They gather their meager supplies and climb into the raft. The Dauntless groans, settling lower. Morgan turns for a last look into the flooding cockpit. For a moment he doesn't see emptiness. He sees them. Danny, Smitty, Chappie, Miller, Vance and Cooper. They are not accusing. They are present. Acknowledged. He gives a final imperceptible nod. The ledger is closed. They push off. The Dauntless lifts its tail in a final salute, then slips beneath the waves. Bubbles rise. The Pacific smooths over. They drift. Hours pass. The sun is a hammer. B drifts in and out. Chen tends to him. Morgan scans nothingness. As the sun sets, B stirs. B. The picture. It's ruined. Morgan peels the layers apart. The stick figures are blurred. But the sun, a yellow circle, remains. Morgan. Gnome, the sun's still there. He places it on B's chest. B's hand rests over it. Chen stares at the horizon. Chen. We altered the strategic picture. We changed the course of the war. He says it like a distant fact. Chen. Was it worth it? Morgan looks at B's pale face, at Chen's hollow eyes. He feels the salt, the ache. He thinks of the 3 scratched-out names, the empty seats, the wall of fire, the single shining sun on a ruined drawing. He doesn't answer. There are no words. Instead, he reaches out. He puts a hand on Chen's shoulder. Chen flinches, then sags into the touch. Morgan places his other hand on B's arm. He sits between his crew, holding them to the world, to life. The raft is a tiny speck in the infinite dark. The war is elsewhere. The mission is over. The ghosts are silent. All that is left is the debt of the living. To keep breathing, to keep the sun on the horizon, to wait for the dawn. Morgan lifts his face to the vast, star-dusted sky. His eyes are open. He is not looking for rescue. He is, for the first time in a very long time, simply alive.